Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the Israel-Hamas war reached its 100th day. Hamas now releasing graphic video of several hostages.
Donald Trump is forecasted to win over the Iowa caucuses, helping solidify his bid to be the Republican presidential nominee.
Plus, the cold weather did not stop the MLK celebrations right here in the Crossroads.
Well, it's a cold night in the Crossroads, you know that. We're in the 20s and we're going to stay down there. The good news is all the precipitation has moved up to the east, so we've got no rain to worry about. There's no additional rain to fall. However, there are some slick spots out there. Got to drive carefully. We'll be talking about the next 7 days coming up in just a moment.
The Cowboys with many questions heading into this offseason, but should they part ways with Mike McCarthy? I'll have what you guys are saying in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
This is an alert day, and right now Victoria County is under 2 warnings. So let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, and of course these 2 warnings are tied to this winter chill.
Downright cold out there, not a fit night for man nor beast. Now we have the wind chill warning. That means if you're out there, it's going to affect your body like it's below 20 degrees. And then we have the winter storm advisory that's basically going to be expiring because the precipitation coming down is moving out. Right about now, we're at 26, but it feels like 12. That's why there's a wind chill advisory. The wind's still out of the north at 22 miles an hour, so it's quite breezy. Our low this morning set a new record of 23. We only got up to 28, so that's why we put this as a alert day. Now tonight we're looking at everybody in the 20s. We're going to stay in the 20s and we're going to stay below freezing for about a day and a half more. So when will we thaw out? When will we get to come outside from under the blankets? We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Victoria Transit will be delayed until 9 a.m. Tuesday. That's a 2-hour delay due to weather. Schools in the Crossroads closed Tuesday due to the winter storm. All Victoria ISD schools, facilities, and offices will be closed Tuesday. This closing includes all after-school and evening events for tomorrow as well.
St. Joseph High School will be closed Tuesday. This includes all athletic practices, competitions, and other extracurricular events. And Faith Academy, including Cub Care, will be closed on Tuesday.
UHV and UHV Katy will be closing and canceling all classes Tuesday. Victoria College will close all locations and cancel all classes Tuesday due to weather and road conditions.
Calhoun County ISD is closing tomorrow, opening 2 hours late on Wednesday. Cuero ISD is canceling school on Tuesday. As of now, normal school hours will resume on Wednesday.
In Bloomington ISD, they canceled school for Tuesday. They will have a late start for classes on Wednesday, with school starting at 10 a.m. More school closings info on our website, crossroadstoday.com. Sleet started coming down in Victoria shortly after 10 Monday morning. It came down for about 10 minutes. Victoria police reported several crashes this morning due to icy road conditions. They are advising drivers to slow down, do not use cruise control, increase following distance, and use extra caution on bridges and overpasses.
Now, the winter storm led to a flood of crashes Monday morning in Goliad County. Sheriff Roy Boyd told there were 6 wrecks in the county. 2 people were transported to the hospital. 4 of the crashes were rollovers, but no one died in these wrecks. So here is your viewer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you experience any challenges or unexpected issues due to the freezing temperatures today? Yes or no? According to our results, it looks like 22% stand at yes and 78% stand at no. Thank you for voting. Don't forget, come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part.
2 warming centers remain open in Victoria. The warming center at First United Methodist Church, 407 North Bridge Street, will close at 8 a.m. Wednesday. The church is collecting donations of bottled water, individually packaged snacks, light throw blankets, or socks. The Salvation Army of Victoria headquarters, 1302 North Lewis Street, opens as a warming center anytime the temperature drops below 35 degrees or below 30 degrees in wind chill.
A third warming center in Victoria is now open. Our Lady of Sorrows Trinity Hall, located at 204 West River Street, will be open until 8 a.m. Wednesday. Families are encouraged to come. And 2 warming centers are now open in Calhoun County. The Bayside Community Church at 25,008 State Highway 172 in Port Alto is now open until Wednesday. Pets and carriers are allowed, so call the church at 361-893-5918.
Staying in Calhoun County, the Bethel Assembly of God, 305 West Warehouse in Port Lavaca, is now open through Wednesday. For more info, call Joel Flores at 361-550-9322. Pets and carriers are allowed there too. There will be 2 warming centers in Cuero open. The Cuero Fire Department, 219 East Main Street, is open from 8 a.m. through 5 o'clock p.m. through Wednesday.
Also, the Cuero Municipal Library, 207 East Main Street, will open as a warming center on Tuesday and Wednesday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The library's phone number is 361-275-2864. Let's now turn to world news, where it has now been 100 days since the Hamas terror attack.
Tonight, Hamas releasing video of 3 hostages still in captivity, including a woman kidnapped from that music festival, Israel calling the video cruel.
After 100 days of war, tonight Hamas releasing new videos showing these 3 hostages. ABC News not showing the hostage videos themselves at the request of the families. Noah Argamani, Yossi Sharabi, Itai Svirsky, just 3 of the more than 100 hostages still held captive in Gaza. Argamani, and that look of terror as she was ripped from her boyfriend and loaded onto this motorcycle, became the face of those taken from the Nova Music Festival. She pleads in this video, "Don't kill me." Over the weekend in Tel Aviv, thousands demanding the hostages return. Among them, Argamani's mother, stricken with cancer, begging to see her daughter again before she dies. And in Israel today, this ramming attack outside Tel Aviv, police say 2 Palestinian men claiming to be enraged by the destruction in Gaza, carjacking vehicles and ramming them into civilians. A 79-year-old woman was killed, 17 others injured. That vehicle went slaloming through the streets here, ramming into pedestrians and other cars, causing massive damage here and, of course, killing that woman. You can see the front end of this car is completely destroyed here. In Gaza, this video circulating online showing the apocalyptic desperation. Thousands swarming aid trucks carrying flour to northern Gaza. Then shots ring out and the hungry scatter. UN organizations estimate that about a quarter of Gaza's population is experiencing catastrophic hunger and expect malnutrition and deaths to follow. Now, 100 days into the war, Israel's defense minister going on national TV saying the fighting is coming to an end in the northern part of the Gaza Strip and will soon end in the southern part. And he also vowed that when it is over, it'll be Palestinians who govern the Gaza Strip, not an Israeli occupation. Matt Gutman, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
The candidates are making their final pitches to Republicans at their caucus sites across Iowa. But political analysts, including ABC News, projecting former President Donald Trump will win the Iowa caucuses. The win solidifies his place as the front runner for the 2024 Republican nomination as he attempts a political comeback nearly 3 years after losing the White House to President Biden. Results are still coming in Monday night. What remains unclear is who will finish second to Trump.
This is the one time when the spotlight is on Iowa and the whole nation is looking to us when most of the time they could care less what we have to say. But right now, you know, this is the grassroots of Iowa where you get together with your community, your precinct, and you talk about things. You talk about issues. You talk about the platform.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley are in a close race for second.
The Biden administration is demanding Texas immediately stop its efforts to block Border Patrol agents from accessing a portion of the U.S.-Mexico border. This comes after 3 people, a woman and 2 children, drowned while attempting to cross the Rio Grande River near Eagle Pass Friday. Mexican authorities say they found the migrants and attempted CPR on the victims, but could not revive them. The administration's letter to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton called the state's actions unconstitutional. The Justice Department says the federal government, not individual states, have the sole authority to enforce immigration policy. The Texas Power Grid operator asked residents to conserve power a second time this week due to the cold weather. The new conservation request is from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Tuesday. You can read the full story by the Texas Tribune online. Now, Martin Luther Jr. celebrations have come to a halt due to the weather. Houston canceled, Austin canceled, San Antonio canceled, but Dallas postponed.
But right here in the Crossroads, the Old Landmark Committee hosted their march on wheels this morning. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick explains.
25 degrees could not stop this community from celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. Around 140 people gathered to march, but the weather conditions changed the march into a caravan. 16 vehicles lined up at Martin Luther King Jr. Park and ended at St. Peter's Baptist Church. The Old Landmark Committee says MLK is too important not to be celebrated.
He just wanted everybody to get along, the blacks, the whites, everybody of every nationality to get along, not fight, but to get along and just be, everybody get together and help each other.
The event hosted government and local authorities. Also, key speakers discussed more than MLK. Civil rights attorney Matthew Manning mentioned the importance of voting.
We have to continue fighting for what he demanded when he demanded that we be given the ballot. Now our charge is a little bit different. It's not just getting the ballot, but it's making sure that our ballot has its full force.
The Old Landmark Committee continues to work on more events. In 1963, MLK said darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. The committee fights to be that light. Reporting in Victoria, I'm Adarius McCormick, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
A Republican primary candidate forum scheduled to be held tonight has been postponed until Monday, February 5th in Port Lavaca. The forum will be at Drifters Hall, 5287 McDonald Road, from 6 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. For more information, call 361-552-6313. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. New police body cam video released to the public following a use of force incident, an officer and a university student. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 10.
Also ahead, the Red Sea crisis sparks growing concerns what this could mean for gas prices tonight.
A man was shot and killed on a New York subway train after reportedly trying to break up an argument. 45-year-old Richard Henderson was shot in the back and shoulder Sunday evening. Detectives say it appears he was trying to resolve a dispute between two people who were arguing over loud music. One of the men involved shot Henderson and then ran into a subway station. Henderson was found inside a subway car at the station and was taken to a nearby hospital where he died. No arrests have been made.
In Ohio, new police body cam video has been released following a use of force incident between an Oxford police officer and a University of Miami student.
Now, video of the violent struggle last November shows the 20-year-old black man being held to the ground.
For weeks, this video clip had many people talking and criticizing Oxford police officer Matthew Blauvelt. He's seen here punching 20-year-old Devin Johnson 3 times in the face outside Brick Street Bar. Now we are getting more information about what happened that morning and are able to see the incident from other angles. In Blauvelt's body camera footage, he can be seen running to the scene. Bar staff already have Johnson on the ground. Attorneys for Oxford Police redacted the audio, so we only see what happened. We cannot hear what was said. Blauvelt can be seen pushing Johnson's face to the ground while Johnson raises his right hand. They appear to be in a struggle, and Blauvelt punches Johnson, trying to subdue him. Moser and the sheriff's office conducted a use of force investigation and found Blauvelt's actions were necessary because Johnson was violent. They said video evidence confirms Blauvelt's story that Johnson pulled the officer down on top of him. Prior to this incident, investigators say Johnson assaulted a bar employee.
That's justified, and now that's the headline, but I don't think it's fair for him to get tried by the media in that way.
Eating at home is getting a lot cheaper. The Consumer Price Index shows food at home prices only rose 1.3% last year. That's a net drop relative to 3.4% inflation. It's a well-deserved break from prices that rose 11.8% the previous year. Eating out is still going to cost you more as food prices tied to restaurants and vending machines went up 5.2%.
Attacks by Iran-backed terrorists in the Red Sea have effectively closed one of the globe's main trade routes to container ships.
Now oil tankers are starting to avoid the southern Red Sea altogether, and gas prices could soon begin to rise.
The sound of UK fighter jets lifting off, part of a US-led effort to go after Houthi militants based in Yemen. Backed by Iran, these militants, who say they're taking revenge for Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza, have been attacking container ships in the Red Sea since November. It's one of the world's most important trade routes. The violence has forced commercial shipping companies to avoid the area, and now oil companies are following suit.
What you're seeing is a number of those oil tankers are no longer traversing the Red Sea.
Oil prices are already starting to tick higher. On Friday morning, U.S. crude climbed as much as 4.5% to $75.25 a barrel.
We see that the shipping is more restricted in the Red Sea. The price of oil is going up.
Gas prices remain relatively low for now. According to AAA, the national price of gas was $3.07 on Monday. But low prices may not be around for long.
We use about 100 million barrels of oil every single day, and that will certainly have an effect on price.
Summer says roughly 18 million barrels of oil travel every day through what's known as the Strait of Hormuz. But the situation in the Red Sea is so tenuous that oil tankers and commercial ships are taking a totally different route, all the way around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. That adds days to the journey. Energy prices could spike, and so could the price at the pump. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, good evening, everyone. Just a cute thing that I do. I wear this coat from an old goat every time it's below 32 degrees. So if you see me wearing this, you know it's 32 or lower. As a matter of fact, it is 26 degrees right about now. It feels like 13. That's why we have the wind chill advisory. Winds are still strong, and it's not a fit night out. Now today we had a record low this morning of 23. That's I think since 1979 that we set a new record, and our high was only 28. So we continue in this alert advisory that we put out, because tomorrow we have the morning hard freeze down to 22 tonight, And that's for all over the crossroads. Coming up, we're going to be talking about when we get out of this chill and when we actually will be able to take our coats off. All that coming up in just a minute. Stay tuned. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm doing this not to make light of the dangerous situation out there. It's just a visual reminder that it is still below freezing. Look at that. Everybody's in the 20s, even down in Point O'Connor, down to 29, 25 out of Nixon, 24 in Gonzales. Now, of course, the wind, of course, makes a big difference. It really makes it feel colder. So, yes, we have a strong wind, and that puts the wind chill down into the teens. But the good news I have for you, because I'm always looking for good news, is all the precipitation that we had this morning, because we had 200s, it's all gone. All right. As a matter of fact, the clearing is going to occur sometime overnight, and by sunrise, we're going to be sunny skies, but still downright cold. So just keep that in mind. You may see the sun, you go, oh, it's warming up. Not necessarily. That north wind continues. But here's the future tracker telling us something very important. By Wednesday, we'll pick up the south wind again, and the low clouds and the Gulf air will roll in, and that means we'll finally get out of this deep freeze. So it'll be about a day and a half of temperatures below freezing. Here's tonight. In the morning, we're looking at, low 20s. And then tomorrow, the freeze line goes up above us because we may rise above freezing for 2 or 3 hours. But then guess what? Then we go back down to freezing. And so we won't get out of this chill until middle of the day on Wednesday. By noontime on Wednesday, we'll be back up into the 50s. And therefore, we'll have a couple of days to finally warm up before the next front comes through. But like I said, I mean, there is hope on the horizon that we'll get the thaw out. Now, I wanted to show you what else the rest of the country is doing. Oh, by the way, Miami Beach was 84 degrees today, but it's the only one. Look at this. Freezing weather all the way down, all the way here, pretty much 9/10 of the country. But it could be worse, folks. Here's a 0 line, and everybody above Kansas is in the single digits or below 0. So it is a hard winter. It is also a what do I say it, a bulge out of the Arctic vortex. Okay, so we did get this pocket of cold air that slipped south, while the rest of the world really is still on the warm side. Record heat for this time of year in North America, except for us. So here's what's happening. The storm continues rolling east. High pressure over us gives us a good day. Tomorrow, sunny skies. And then by the time we get to Wednesday, we'll see that return flow that brings the Gulf air back into the area. Of course, we'll have another storm system developing. This one is going to pass through our area sometime late Thursday night, and by Friday we have another surge of chilly air. Won't be as cold as this one, but we'll be back down to below freezing for a little bit. And then we get real interesting. We get a complex coming up from the south that's going to give us quite a bit of rain next weekend. So here's what the 7 days look like. We put another alert day because we're going to be basically freezing most of the day except for maybe 2 hours. And then the next morning we'll be down to 21. And then finally on Wednesday afternoon we start warming up to 48, 68 the high on Thursday. Next front is by Friday morning, gusty north winds, a little cold again. But the interesting part is that 7 days from now, we'll be getting quite a bit of rain beginning on Sunday, and looks like a significant rainfall on Monday of next week. So bundle up, folks. Take it easy. Whatever you did to stay warm last night, that's important. Let's do it again. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Zach Brown with football.
Yeah, and speaking of football, it's cold here. It might be even colder where the Texans are going next. I'll have that matchup in sports. Interesting offseason, to say the least, for the Dallas Cowboys. A year where the entire NFL is wide open. Dallas, an absolute no-show at home in the wild card round. It was 27-0 before they even got on the board, but they just looked unprepared, blown coverages, bad defense and offense. They just had a lot of garbage time numbers and points that made it appear respectable, but Dallas knows it wasn't. And that's going to lead us to your viewer poll. Should the Cowboys just straight up fire Mike McCarthy, yes or no? We got 64% of you guys say yes. I'm absolutely a yes. There's a head coach out there that will have them prepared every time they step out there. That is Bill Belichick. He's available. Jerry Jones, make the smart decision. Come on, man. Well, Mike McCarthy wasn't the only one to lose to his former team. Matthew Stafford, now playing for the Rams, hit the field in Detroit. Stafford, of course, gave his all to that franchise for 12 years, but they never won a playoff game. Pretty ironic to be watching the Lions win a playoff game for the first time in 32 years with Jared Goff, who the Lions got in the Stafford deal a few years back, and he wasn't happy about being booed either. When asked about the city of Detroit, he said, "I'm just happy for the players."
Detroit for your first 12 seasons. How do you feel about the city of Detroit?
I'm happy for the players. Happy for those guys.
The question was, you were here your first 12 years. How do you feel about the city of Detroit? He says he's just happy for the players only. In Buffalo, it was all Bills in the first half, capped off by a 52-yard touchdown run from Josh Allen to make it 21-0. Pittsburgh tried to make it a game, but the Bills pulled away late, winning 31-17. And with that win, it's official. The Texans will play Baltimore in a rematch of Week 1. The Ravens won that game 25-9, but that was the first game for a lot of young Houston Texans. In the Crossroads, we got some ballers on the girls' end. A lot of teams are ranked, and this is the coaches poll. Coming in at number 10, the girls had a shiner, who are 23-2 in Class 3A. And welcome to the party, Hallettsville at number 23. By the way, Edna fell out of the rankings despite being undefeated in district play. Hallettsville, Sacred Heart, and Shiner St. Paul round out that list. And what a collapse by the Philadelphia Eagles. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zap. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, we stay on that sports beat with two brothers who are divided over the Packers and the Cowboys. It's a first for the Miss American pageant, with a U.S. Air Force officer winning the 2024 title. 22-year-old Madison Marsh was crowned Miss America Sunday night. She's a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force, and she represented the state of Colorado. Now, don't forget, Ellie Bro of Houston, Texas, also placed as a first runner-up.
There's nothing like a football house divided, no matter what the age of those involved. Take a look at these two little guys. The Cowboys fan obviously upset as his brother in the Packers jersey shouts with joy. As the mom explains, the family is from the Wisconsin Dells and moved to Texas at a very impressionable age for her older son.
He's crying.
We're from Wisconsin. We're from Wisconsin Dells. We moved in 2009 to open our fourth Kalahari in Round Rock, Texas. So the boys were 3 and 4. Maybe a little younger, very impressionable age to move to Texas and become a Dallas fan because all his friends like Dallas. But still true Packer fans on the one side of the house.
The Packers, as you know, went on to win that game 48-32, as Cowboys fans know too well.
Oh, man.
I'm looking right now at the Drive Texas. This is TxDOT's drivetexas.org map. We've got some ice and just ice situations. If you're going from Victoria north to Hallettsville, a little up from Fortran and around the Cuero area on 87, going south around Port Lavaca. If you're going towards Goliad on U.S. Highway 59 around Fannin. We've got some ice issues on the road.
Be careful out there.
It all fell this morning. It hasn't evaporated. It's refreezing tonight. Drive carefully.
Please do. And looking ahead?
Looking ahead, another cold morning, down to 21. We'll stay freeze or below freezing until middle of Wednesday. Then we thaw out a little bit. And then we replace all that with some rain by the coming weekend. So we'll be certainly watching it for you, but try and stay warm and make sure the pets, the pipes, the plants, and the people are taken care of.
Mac, thank you. And finally tonight, a South Carolina man was taking his dog Roxy out when he noticed her walking towards the woods, walking right at a coyote. That coyote ran at the dog. Timothy Snipe is his name. He got control of the coyote, picked him up by the tail, put him in the dumpster until he could get help. His heroic efforts all caught on camera. Snipe was bit by the coyote. He went to the doctor and got 9 rabies shots. He says he feels good and will now keep a coyote-proof vest on Roxy when she goes outside.
That's
Good
the only
idea.
way.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, glad to know that they're safe. But thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join us 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.